Dear George Bush, some police, some Weathersfield police have been forging and switching names with people from other departments and other police forms through administrations, as their roles with courts and their family members. Overt criminal enterprises and private ones at the same time with news and names next to them. Foreign and domestic military, used remotely with that differences bracket method worse than war crimes that assign black people as whites of eyes with other revelations that come with this, where the body behind why and how we have white eyes, black pupils is demonstrated. For example, even how fish have eyes that are distinct but non-distinct too, and simultaneous, but also per that which is not us nor the other species bodies, but it is all any things anyway. See, this is what sciences is supposed to be about, but they put sciences in a, like, for example, with theory and why and how we have to have theory. There is still theory standing where our founders declassified. There was a breaching method in place, and they did not have free speech. Each campus I went to in this town had people next to each campus I went to too, attached to faked and changed communications with me, and I locked that into place, even with the news and their identity theft, fraud, slanders overt. It is manifest that way against everyone. That's why and how the guys have like a Justin Klavinskas. I never had a class with him in my life. Only time I ever saw him on a campus was real fast in high school before graduation, and it was a confirmation too. That's the only time I ever saw who's apparently his wife. In other words, who was one of the ones involved with him and with people from UConn, like named named Violet, and their roles next to Harvard Hospital with a whole bunch of intelligence families, foreign and domestic, overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and their educators putting fake things in databases with them. Kevin Dillon is also one of the ones increasingly involved with people from Washington, D.C., and former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, involved with 2 speech class teachers I had. And these people and their roles with names all along Route 175, from the founding locations in Old Weathersfield, Connecticut, all the way to Central Connecticut State University in New Britain. They have been putting predicate acts with facts roles, methods, needs, and natures, and styles. And this breaching method hides behind all differences, like the differences of Republicans or Democrats, where and how they're forcing the Boolean logic, and they're forcing why and how, and nature's demonstrations of it. And the breaching method, blame what it causes and is being demonstrated as a scientific word, and how it's being demonstrated by nature itself as a scientific value. The human fact treatment nature breaching method that the laws were about before America's founders were born had been sustained against Native Americans, who are 3/3 of our founders, but 1/3 completely by themselves. Nature shows us this, and our founders communicated this if we pay attention. See, president/chief. Even you guys are supposed to decipher this. We're not supposed to have a comment. Obviously, the presidents are going to know things that people don't know. But obviously, in other words, we have to be able to. Obviously, people have to be able to contribute. How only an individual could depend to order the finite, and the presidents are above locations, areas, and states that are recorded still styles of logic, natures of logic, blaming on other things, others, ourselves, and screening the reason they're doing that and having done that for a breaching method. Things like the breaching method. That's part of the reason why we're not having that appreciated, even though nature itself and our founders communicated to us. There was a breaching method listening to what everyone said. There were internationally monitored conversations that had slavery enforced and roles with it. Everyone was tortured, extorted, enslaved, sickly, distinctly, fact, nature-wise. and then therefore physically, and forced to blame other things, others, ourselves, or be sensed through a method slash S that would do it through our own as A through Z, the human species body of individual bodies. Now a system's tactile from the one that uses how we are individual species body of individual bodies with all group differences that are a demonstration of that distinct identity of hyper simultaneous nature. That is more than just being the identity to relativity of, with black and white, for example. Relativity slash hyper relativity is being demonstrated to us per science. Per science, where theory is involved with nature debate that was employed by the breaching method, and then America's founders were born. And as James Madison, coupled with the Native American, already having been a distinct front as names A through Z of the human species body, already having been forced to fight with themselves too. But already having been taken from nature's communications with positive and negative. And then hyper additionally, we are how we are ground, but not by any way. And how it shows us, nature shows us the difference between positives as positive or as positives as criminal insidiousness nature. Truths that can be used for lies. Excuse me. For example, mass predicate acts with facts methods and identity theft, fraud, slander, collusion slash S were gotten away with because this breaching method showed complete strangers, people that know each other, the difference of that weren't how it would be estimated in all sides of criminal and civil cases. The courts names the intelligence tied to them, which has never been not criminally foreign influence, at A through Z. All exceptions in exception nature come with demonstration slash demonstrations of the same thing and how we discern it, inseparable from all things individually grouped and together, but in the ways we know, but then hyper additionally too, in ways that we've been ignoring because we have been systems type. We've been ignoring how the systems have been abridged since ancient times. They've been criminally foreign influenced. Nature shows us to call it criminally foreign influence slash hyper criminally foreign influence. I'm not a lawyer. All sides of criminal and civil cases, interstates, as the ones from Connecticut involved with the World Trade Center attack. All sides of the Ninth Circuit Court and the court itself is involved with sequence shifts with names I only know an extent of, against me, leading up to that in that context and since. Increasingly, New Britain there's a Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut. It has rules of foreign and domestic originally and still before everyone was born. With use slash S of all location, all ground of location slash S everywhere the human species body is. And it designed the suburbs, tactically denatured, before America's founders were born. Per a breaching method that also had extorted all individuals of those internationally monitored conversations, which were part of the multi-front, but there were one front on what multi-front held motivated roles with systems that were using slavery, sickly, distinctly northern colonies, southern colonies, and all truths about what caused that and things like that used to screen the breaching method. A scientific value that was being demonstrated to them too. But the breaching method did and does things like the World Trade Center attack to measure and maintain other things, others, ourselves, only capable of being blamed for things that it caused. And while self-valuing that having been, or that body is sensed, including if that body is a majority of people, including if that body is every single person of a country, A through Z, already having been child abused because of multi-front at each age of fact-sheeping nature. You wouldn't believe but it's recorded, how the names were exploited as one standing at the elderly homes. The difference of that programs, their campuses, where they lived, who their teachers were. I mean, who's in over. This is a breaching method that employed people to debate things while it measures and maintains. That's a scientific value in the communications of James Madison and the founders behind him, his plan. Please have WFSB, Connecticut Channel 3 News, take me out for fake conversations with us about the World Trade Center attack. A whole bunch of people from Harvard Hospital, they fabricated conversations with me, fake transcripts. We're going to examine this. You guys are lied to.